tinfoil hat. Oh, what the fuck are you guys even talking about?
Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Now we got these new fires over here, and so nuts.
Yeah, every time I refresh my screen, it's like it started at 5,000. Now it's 6,000 acres, 8,000 acres now, I think.
Where's this at? Because I can't even see the smoke. I went outside to walk.
Oh, dude, you can't see the smoke? It's
like
crazy,
Kasaya.
dude.
Yeah. It's like Kasaya.
Crazy.
I just saw the smoke, honestly, when I went to LAX, and I picked up because there were fires starting on each side of the freeway on the 605 when I was on the way. I hit the 605 and the 105, and as soon as I got on the 105, there were two fires burning on either side of the freeway.
Damn.
It was very strange, man. So that I don't know where that potentially could spread, but either way, you know, it's strange how much, like, you look at where these fires have kind of sparked up, and once again, like, it's kind of been established that arsonists have largely been responsible, by the way.
100%.
Right? And it
Not
goes
only that,
so.
I think they created them. I guess they just
Hold
taught
on.
My bad.
Let's dive into this. So we're saying it's arson, and then Xavier Guerrero goes, and they think they created it. What
you
do you mean by that? What do you mean by
very
that?
malicious people know now that if they start a fire and there's wind, it can create a big ass problem. Like, they just, like, not that they create them on
They
purpose.
just figured that out? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, very malicious people. Where do you think they started from? Like, if all of a sudden homeless people, that if they already hate their lives, they're like, well, fuck it.
It's
Fuck
like a
these
trend.
houses.
It's like a trend. It's trendy for homeless people now.
Yeah, it's just, that's what I'm saying. Not that we created them like in a lab, but it's just
Well,
like
you
it gave
also
someone a
don't know
thought.
that
Like, oh, there's wind. I can start a fire. It's dry. Fuck their house. I already don't have a house. It's just very, like, I don't know, very devilish shit that's going on in my eyes.
Yeah. I think that's what you
Absolutely,
described was an arsonist. That's a long way
It's
to
funny.
go.
You see a lot of the videos you've seen are of homeless people trying to start fires just like on the sidewalk, like who clearly don't get the concept of fuel. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I saw a
Well,
couple
I
of
drove around with a
started them on
bat
videos and-
looking for them. I have a bat and a glove because I want my kids to learn.
Oh, did you get the glove finally?
I got it because my kids are learning t-ball. You know, and we're ready to go, dog.
You're
We're
really
ready
trying to
go.
raise some lesbians, aren't you, Sam?
Sam, I sent those notes to your email, Sam.
Okay,
Just
cool.
so you know, brother.
All right, perfect. Yeah,
Nice.
sorry guys, I'm a little phased right now. I got in a stupid ass argument with some freaking New York City female comic who's just yelling at me about the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life, and it's just, I'm just like, you are just mean. These, like, just mean people. Just these young, like, my favorite thing are young chicks telling young female comics yelling at old male comics about that they're old. I'm like, bitch, I'm still in the game, dog. I mean, you're gonna be lucky if anyone gives a shit what you have to say at my age. I mean, come on, dog.
Well, it's also the ageism thing. Is like nobody gives a shit about ageism. You
Right,
know?
right,
Ageism
right,
they
right.
care about. Ageism is the last. Nobody cares about it. It's so fine to old man. Oh, old man, you're so gross. Oh my god.
It's so fucking funny. So, guys, thank you guys for coming in. I called you guys today. Wanted to get into it with you guys. Said I need a banger. You guys sent me some great notes. Super excited about it. Where do you guys want to start?
Well, Austin sent him the notes, so I mean, I guess we could probably guys start wherever he wants to go. I mean, just so you guys know, I'm Jose Galison.
Well, we just lost him.
Yeah, we lost you.
Oh, that happens occasionally with his mic. Every once in a while, dude. It's something to do with, like,
It's
noise
Zoom. I don't know why
cancellation.
Zoom.
Is it Zoom?
Yeah, because you're dangerous, dude. You talk about dangerous shit.
Zoom does this. I don't know why.
I'm being
I-
dead
I-
serious, man. I just downloaded a brand new operating system to my phone, and it's just garbage. It's just
Right.
it's gone to shit. I can't email. I can't get emails back. It's just gone to shit, dude. And so I'm sure, I mean, my cable's all messed up. I wouldn't doubt if we're in that time where the tech gods have gotten so advanced, they can just start fucking with all of our shit all the time, making it really hard to do anything, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, I just now finally was able to monetize the YouTube because I kind of came really I drug my feet significantly as far as just starting the YouTube in general, because I knew this was going to be an issue as far as just either censorship or they will 100% demonetize the vast majority of my video content, and that is 100% what seems to be happening. It's kind of interesting which episodes were taken off YouTube in general, right, to begin with, which of course was, I believe it was the JFK episode that I did, the PizzaGate episode I did as well. That one got removed instantly, basically.
Yeah.
And it was my best performing
you'll
episode.
get just demonetized and they will never forgive you for. We're
100%.
still getting hit because of videos that we don't even have on there anymore. I mean, Johnny, we pulled out all of our conspiracy stuff. I have no conspiracy stuff on our
even though
main
we got hit on shit that was private that he turned to private years ago, and then we would get hit on it much later. We had to just completely delete the files off of their servers to get any credit for it. Yeah, and it seems like they're letting us play a little now, maybe.
It feels like we're getting away with a lot more these days. At least that's my impression. I got demonetized forever ago for saying maybe the Civil War wasn't as a cut and dry as just South bad, North good, and I got demonetized. It really was that tacit, that simple of a thing. But yeah, no, I haven't had much issues lately. Austin came on the scene in the YouTube game. I think I fixed the issue, by the way. I think it's a Zoom settings thing. I don't think the man's trying to get us. It's just I'm used to using StreamYard.
Come on, man. It's harder to think that, dude.
Yeah, the man's out to get us.
That gets me rock hard thinking about it, dude. These guys
we're all
coming
shadow
after
banned.
us.
But yeah, me and Austin started up a show not too long ago. Me and him, obviously, we have two separate podcasts, but 2/3 of our shit is kind of joined together. We're doing a daily show these days where we've been doing like 5 to 7 days a week. It's either on his channel or my channel, depending on who's hosting it for the day. We've been doing the morning dump, is what we're calling it, where we're doing like a morning show, just kind of a live stream, hanging out with people.
I love that.
And then once a week at nighttime, we do Already Dead, which is kind of like a recap for the week. We kind of just talk about whatever things we've been spurging, what's things going on. So we have the morning dump for kind of like on the go, kind of like off the cuff stuff. And then, we come together for the week and kind of recap all the important information. And obviously we have our own side podcast, but it's funny. Me and him actually met after going on your podcast, because I did an episode on the Oklahoma City bombing. He did one on Ruby Ridge. And then we linked up after that and then just kind of vibed from there. And we've been doing that ever since. For those who are interested, the morning show is every day at 10 a.m. Eastern, roughly, give or take. It's either on my show, No Way Jose, or on his show, on his video platforms. It also goes out to our RSS feeds, or the Underclass podcast. You can follow either; it'll show up there. And then for the Already Dead, it goes out to both our platforms as well. And that's Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. And you were on there not too long ago, Sam. It's a fun time. We have a good time, but it's the motif of that show. It's called Already Dead. It's kind of playing off the idea of like suicided individuals, because that's the kind of content me and Austin tend to gravitate towards.
Sounds fun.
I kind of cut my teeth on the Terrence Yeeke story, which is kind of like what brought me into Oklahoma City bombing. I've kind of become like known as becoming like the Oklahoma City bombing guy, and specifically a suicided individual within there. And there's other suicide individuals, even just in the Oklahoma City bombing. Just seems to be a common theme. And we thought it'd be I don't know. We have a pretty dope intro that kind of ties into it as well. That we're pretty proud
all right.
Of
so he's Jose Galison, not a real name. And then Austin Wade Picard is, I've said before, he's one of the best researchers in the game.
Thank you, brother.
All of their links will be below in the show notes. So if you want to support them, please do. And we want to welcome everybody to the show live from the Wise Wolf Gold and Silver Studios. If you go to samtripoli.gold, use the promo code TINFOIL, you can get in the Precious Metals game for as little as $50 a month. So go check that out. Support people who support the show. I appreciate you guys showing up, man. I wanted to do an emergency show with you guys. Totally appreciate. Sometimes we do a little dangerous shows, and we have to let them sit by themselves. And then we want to do, and even though what you guys are going to talk about is dangerous, it's not as dangerous as some of the stuff, which is good too. We
Right.
on this show, we want everybody to be heard, and we just have to, make sure everybody associated with the show is okay with it. And so that's why we called you guys in, and I appreciate you guys stepping up and coming. So where do you guys oh yeah, real quick, if you want, I want to thank everybody from who went and saw me in Batavia this weekend. Thank you guys so much. Go to samtripoli.com. Got some great dates coming here. Columbus, Ohio, February. I'm at the Funny Bone with Eddie Bravo on February 6th. The 7th, I'm at Pottstown, PA at Soul Joel's. And then at Morris, I'm at the Dojo of Comedy on the 8th. So go check that out in the end of the month. I'm at the Phoenix, the House of Comedy in Phoenix. So yeah, that's it, guys. So where do we want to start?
Man, there are plenty of places we could begin, honestly, because, I mean, talk about PSYOP season, brother, right? Feeling surrounded by spooks in every direction you turn. I mean, it truly feels that way. And Jose and I have been really talking about how it essentially feels as if, there's been a concerted effort deliberately to infiltrate and oversaturate the alternative media landscape in more ways than one. And I think that's very much coming to fruition. It's a sort of modern mockingbird technique, I think. And I think also the vast majority of people are under this false impression and misconception that Mockingbird ended, right? And that, of course, isn't the case. I mean, the CIA set up a liaison office in 1996, of course, to actually influence, Hollywood. But not only that, create out of whole cloth, legitimate television series by writing the plot lines. And so like Homeland is a great example because they were clearly read in on as far as you had spooks, giving them direct script notes, right? It wasn't just the fact that they had advisors on set and things of that nature. They were going to Langley and they were meeting with people like John Brennan, right? And this is just the fact of the matter when you're talking about, the writers and the actors, right? And
what was it like? Claire Danes, is that her name? The actress that was on there. She was on Colbert, and she was discussing, and he just shut that down real quick, dude. Johnny, I don't know if we'll get dinged. We're not on anything that can ding us. Can you look up her on Colbert? And she gets shut down. She's talking about the CIA, how they worked with the intelligence agencies on Homeland. And dude, he shuts it down real quick. Dude.
Did anybody watch the show? It's actually, I mean, the first season is pretty good. Yeah, it's a great show.
Good because they're working with spooks. Yeah, that's why it's good.
What's no the most surprising thing that they've told you about their jobs or something you would need to know?
Well, every year it's different, right? We've been at it for a while, and the climate has changed. But this year it was all about the distrust between the administration and the intelligence world, and the intelligence community was suddenly kind of allying itself with journalists, which usually they're not.
How long ago did you start shooting this season?
There we go. See, dude, he just shut that down.
100%.
Yeah, I will say, at first I didn't think it was that weird until the implications of other people, because the fact that an individual, I think she plays a Fed, right, in Homeland. So I guess
and she goes off the list.
Yeah, it's kind of easy to make an argument why you would need to consult with the CIA, but the implication of this does seem like they have like a regular camp that actors go to, and not just for CIA glowy roles. So there's a little bit.
The more interesting is the way Colbert is. I mean, that's what you're talking about, Sam, right? The way he shuts her down in that moment, right? Yeah.
But it's also the conceptual propaganda aspect of it all, because clearly, they're influencing the script to shed positive light on the agency. That's the entire goal. So they want to construct this sort of narrative within the subconscious mind of the average individual who's the audience member, that CIA good, right? I mean, it's as simple as that, as well as seeding the narrative. Because if you remember the first couple seasons, definitely the first I watched, because my sister was like, hitting me up like, you got to watch this. So I watch it, right? I go in and I watch the first season of Homeland, and my instinctual reaction is the CIA was involved with the plot. Like, no way around it. And it was primarily due to the fact that how they kind of staged the compromised asset, which was this what was he, just a kind of a combat veteran who had come back from serving overseas, and then essentially had been compromised. Right, by this Islamic terrorist threat, right, who has compromised his psychology, and so therefore he's giving these hidden gestures and coded symbols while he's giving a fucking news conference or something, right, a press briefing about how his experience. He was like a hostage or something, wasn't he? I can't remember.
He was held captive by some anonymous, I think.
Terrorist cell
at the very least. Yeah, terrorist.
Doesn't it sound like some Matthew Livelsberger bullshit? Doesn't it? This sounds like almost like some sort of similar plot. Like, you know?
You know what else it sounds like? It sounds like Omar Mateen and the Pulse nightclub network, as far as I'm concerned, especially considering remember, Jose, when Sam brought that up, and I was meaning to actually get to that when you came on Already Dead, because you had recently brought it up when you went on Rogan just before you came on our show. And like instantly, I paused the episode and I went and I looked up what you were talking about, because it was the, if I remember right, where did I have it? Yeah, here it is. The New Mexico compound, right? Yeah. Where they were training these school shooters. And so I looked that up, right? And what I discovered was that there seemed to be far more deeper connections in regard to the potential. Essentially, this is pattern recognition that I'm really talking about, because it fits all. Let's say it shares all the hallmarks, right, of this radical Islamic seminary course that was essentially a radicalization pipeline set up online, and you look at who actually set this up, and it will boggle your mind, because of course this has a direct connection from what you brought up from the New Mexico compound shootings, and that we're training children for school shootings. Okay, I pull this all up. It has a direct connection to Omar Abdul Rahman in the 1993 false flag attacks, right, of the World Trade Center bombing. And so that was a CIA-connected operation all day long. You can trace that back. Yeah. It's amazing, right? And you can also trace it back to, what was it? It was that consulate that essentially was compromised and was providing all the visas and the passports to Al-Qaeda members who were the alleged hijackers on 9/11. And one of the individuals came forward who's working at the Jeddah consulate, and he's like, "Hey, motherfucker, I didn't approve these visas for these obvious terrorists. I mean, they're clearly compromised individuals." And then the higher up authorities come in and say that the CIA, of course, like you have the CIA authorities who came down from the top, the brass, who said, keep your mouth shut if you know what's good for you, effectively. And of course, he whistle blew and essentially lost his career after the fact. And he wrote an entire book. I remember, because I covered that in the 9/11 episode, that Jeddah consulate connection, because again, it's just like,
it's so crazy, dude.
Isn't it, brother?
It's so everything is so connected. And like John Brennan, in any other time, he would be seen as a fucking traitor, and he would be brought to the the guillotine, dude. But today he has he's a talking head on MSNBC or CNN. It is unbelievable. The belief that he was Muslim because he was allowed into Mecca, which you're not allowed in unless you are Islamic. Okay. He goes in there, he meets with them, and again, we had Jay Dyer on, and Jay Dyer basically breaks down that, like, when they talk about the Saudis involved with 9/11, that it is basically British intelligence, which to me is why you see so many American businesses working with the Saudis right now, like I know they have money, but if we really hated them, right? If we like really hate them the way we hate the Russians, and if like Laura Chen took money from the Saudis, we would still see her gorgeous face making content, right? She is just like disappeared. But because she took Russian Tonight money, which most of us would, because that's a lot of money, and I love what Russian Tonight did. They do great work. Okay. Dude, she's gone. She's gone.
RTU. That's so crazy. Yep.
Real quick, the crypto markets are on fire. I'm in it to win it. And if you want to get into it, there's no better place to go than our good friend James McMahon and Copy My Crypto. Let me tell you about Copy My Crypto. Guys, it has to piss you off to watch crypto fly up in prices for a decade and you still done nothing, okay? It makes sense. Crypto is complicated and it's really boring. Well, here's the good news. You don't have to know a thing about crypto to make the money like so many have. The CopyMyCrypto.com membership site shows you the exact cryptos that YouTuber James McMahon personally owns, which means you just got to copy him. It's like having a big brother who knows what he's doing. You don't need to know a thing about crypto or how to invest. You simply just copy along. So let me tell you about James. He runs the Crypto with James YouTube channel, which has over 50,000 subscribers. In the summer of 2020, he told his viewers to buy 26 cryptos. Had you put $100 into each one, it went on to be worth over $123,000. Of the 26 cryptos, his top pick, the one he singled out called Phantom, went up 692 times from when he said, okay, that one call alone retired a number of people, including guys in their 20s and 30s. Remember, this is public knowledge. You can go to YouTube and verify this yourself. So if you'd like to join the 2,800 members who copy James, then pause what you're doing right now and head over to copymycrypto.com/TFH. Okay, that's copymycrypto.com/TFH. That's TFH. You're not only find proof of everything I said, but my viewers get full access for just $1. Yes, you've missed out on Bitcoin, or you can keep buying some, okay? But there's over 2 million other cryptos. Do you really think you've missed out on all of them? Guys, don't waste any time. Go to the site and read it. Okay. Once again, that's copymycrypto.com/TFH. It ended money worries for so many. It may just do the same for you. Hey guys, real quick, I want to tell you about our good friends at Select Quote. Listen, there are so many things in life we just never get around to, okay? Taking up that hobby, cleaning out the garage, little things that really don't make a huge difference in our lives. Yet there's one thing that most of us have probably been neglecting that can have a huge impact on our family's future. It's life insurance. And with Select Quote, getting her covered with the right policy for you is easier and more affordable than you may think.
Select Quote is one of America's leading insurance brokers with nearly 40 years of experience, helping more than 2 million customers find more than $700 billion in coverage since 1985. Other life insurance brokers offer impersonal, one-size-fits-all policies that may cost you more and cover you less, while Select Quote's licensed insurance agents work for you to tailor a life insurance policy for your individual needs in as little as 15 minutes. And have you ever worried about getting coverage with a pre-existing health condition? Select Quote partners with carriers that provide policies for a variety of health conditions. If you have high blood pressure, that's no problem. If you have diabetes, that's fine too. Even if you have heart disease, Select Quote partners with carriers that can cover those conditions and others. Head to selectquote.com and a licensed insurance agent will call you right away with the right policy for your life and your budget. Select Quote. They shop, you save.
So get the right life insurance for you for less at selectquote.com/tinfoil hat. Go to selectquote.com/tinfoil hat today to get started. That's selectquote.com/tinfoil hat. We thank you for sponsoring the show.
Man, when you look at all these various connections that tie into what essentially is, it seems to be an international sort of private intelligence network, right?
Like an
That's very
octopus?
covert and clandestine in nature.
With many arms.
100%, man. But
Yeah.
but what is so astonishing about the New Mexico compound that you had mentioned is the fact that the 5 defendants was Abdul Ghani Wahaj was the original, right? And then Siraj Wahaj was the father. And so basically a boy's remains were found at this compound and police said that although it is not yet clear, this is of course original accounting of the case, whether the remains are those of 4-year-old Abdul Ghani, and then later of course it's confirmed that it was the 4-year-old Abdul Ghani, but essentially this child Abdul Ghani Wahaj was 4 years old and found dead at this compound, and he was apparently kidnapped by his father Siraj Wahaj. And so 5 defendants were involved in this case. And Wahaj, his sisters, Haraj Wahaj and Subhana Wahaj, who are thought to be the children's mothers. And then Lucas Morton and Janie LaVille were each arraigned in New Mexico as well, and in a courtroom on 11 counts of child abuse related to the neglect and abuse of the children. But it gets very interesting, because what you come to find out is that the 5 who pled not guilty, of course, they were given originally a public defender, and then all of a sudden some strange, just of course the public defender doesn't stand up, and it seems to have been some sort of federal involvement in what also tends to always fit this pattern of the federal cover-up, right? And man, that falls perfectly in place with the Delphi murders that I've just covered recently with William Ramsey, which will blow your mind, because there's all these occult connotations to Odinism and effectively
They off the fucking Fed. Like, that's the biggest thing that stands out about that. They off the Fed in that story, the Delphi murders. A Fed got offed, and the Fed stepped away and just let it fly, and that's where it went. Yeah, that's really all you need to know about the Delphi story, is be like, what the hell? Like, a Fed got offed, and then they just were like, oh, I guess we got to leave that be then.
No,
You're like,
what is
going on here?
Story?
You haven't heard of the Delphi murders, brother? No. This is actually relevant, and it is very much something that is current as well, because if you consider Richard Allen, who was the alleged perpetrator, because what the fundamental basics of the case are, there were murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German, all right? And this all occurred in Delphi, Indiana, and it's known now as the Delphi murders, and it occurred February 13th, 2017. And so essentially their bodies, they're discovered near the Monon High Bridge Trail, part of the Delphi Historic Trails, and they disappeared on the 13th, but their bodies were found on the 14th on Valentine's Day. So consider again, the occult connotation of Delphi itself. I see that as no way it's a coincidence, especially considering how their bodies are found essentially staged in a ritualistic neo-pagan ritual. It will essentially, what had happened is that it got all this prominent coverage at the time, because it kind of, like, a lot of the true crime aficionados were very much attracted to this case. And
this is the one. Wait, I'm sorry to interrupt you. This is the one where they have a video of him, right? There's like a little bit of there's a little bit of video of him. Yeah. Okay, 100%. I know what it is. Yeah,
it was a Snapchat video that went viral because one of the girls.
You should probably play it, because I mean that's going to be meaningful in here in a minute, especially when it comes into Richard Allen, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. Down the hill, he says, allegedly, and it's like a few seconds. It's like, in reality, I think it was a 48-second video, and we only got a few second footage in totality that was publicly available. But yeah, my God, like what essentially, I think, what should be understood, first of all, is how I was kind of introduced to this, because Jose and I, we had William Ramsey on, and he introduced me to the Hosanna Church scandal. All right. And I was unaware that was kind of like the influence, kind of a very, primary influencing factor to the first original season of True Detective, right? With McConaughey and Woody Harrelson. And I felt like that first season was one of the standalone, one of the greatest television series I've ever watched in my life. And I felt like it kind of introduced, right? And it kind of introduced just the valuable conceptual framework that's so necessary to understand when you,
and it was before like a lot of PizzaGate stuff came out. So afterwards you kind of go back, you see all this symbolism, you see all this stuff, you know, it's super creepy.
Look, here's the video. Here's the video that it's an old man, right? It's this one, right?
Yep.
Ah, crap.
So crazy, dude. I would kill this guy. If it was my daughter, I would find him and kill him.
They're not playing.
To skip ahead, it's Richard Allen is the one a lot of people think it is, or is that the one that's the Patsy? I forget.
Well,
there's the one that looks a lot like him
for sure.
that had Odinist connections, and
it doesn't let you
was
play.
Pedo.
Don't worry about.
So the pedo one, he looks just like the video. He's a pedo, has Odinist connections, but then they're focused on the other guy. I forget the names. If Richard Allen's a Patsy or if he's the pedo.
Yeah, Richard Allen is in my mind, and I believe there's enough evidence as far as. Once you go into the memorandum, there's a 126-page memorandum that explains all of this in detail. And I believe I know the names of the individual perpetrators who were involved. And I also think I know. Go ahead and play it with sound.
Hold on. So what are we watching right now?
So
one of the girls captured on her phone a video of the attacker. That was one of the last things they found on the phone.
It was a Snapchat post.
Hold on. So this is her video and he's walking towards them?
Yeah,
He's
it's like
walking
this girl's.
towards them,
Man, I would kill this motherfucker.
Imagine there's these two girls on a bridge and they see a creepy man coming at them. So their first instinct is let me catch it on Snapchat, and then they capture it and then they're gone. That's the last thing they got of the
how
girls.
we enhance the video, adjusting color, size, angle, and more to create a usable image for investigators. In fact, one of the women who was on the trail that day told jurors, "I immediately knew when I saw that photo that was the man I saw on the bridge." She and two other women who say they saw Bridge Guy on the trails just before the murders testified Tuesday afternoon. All of them described Bridge Guy in much the same way: larger or taller, in his 20s or 30s, muscular, with a boyish or youthful appearance. And some said he had brown, poofy hair. But those descriptions do not match Richard Allen's, who is not tall or muscular and was in his mid-40s at the time of the murders. Also today, jurors saw...
Dude, no. So here's the issue here. There are two sketches of the perpetrator, the alleged perpetrator. All right, one of them looks like Justin Bieber, like when he was young, right? And essentially what you have to understand is this is in the framework of the context of this Snapchat profile that goes by Anthony_shots, and his real name was Kagan Klein. All right, and this motherfucker is spending 40 years in the penitentiary for child pornography now after the fact. So his home was raided by the feds within 3 days of the Delphi murders. All right. That's another thing that's very important. And what I think, and what I think this proves what this proves to be is some sort of modern day procurement method that's been sophisticated to where it's very much kind of like within the 76409A sort of digital grooming sort of framework, right? And so they're utilizing Snapchat and Instagram to seduce young girls into providing their addresses and pictures of themselves. I'm telling you. And so this individual, I believe, was just one of I think he was the procurement method for the ritual murder by the Villander group. That's what I believe occurred.
So they get a cute guy to get these young girls to show up.
What's crazy? You look up Kagan Klein. Kagan Klein looks like it's like that Jimmy Savile effect. You pull up the picture, you're like, that motherfucker did it. Right? Like you're like 100%. And so you pull up the picture, and there's something else that's very important to understand. There were other girls that he had this profile Kagan Klein was behind, the Anthony_shots. He was using a fake picture of a young male model who resembled Justin Bieber. It was a real person. And the feds and investigators later, officially confirmed that it was not this individual behind the Snapchat profile. It was the Kagan Klein. And what had happened was he had poached those pictures, put them on his Snapchat profile to lure in the young girls. And then he was also providing like this false lifestyle that he was, pushing to the public, which was also a seduction aspect of luring them in. And that was, of course, like he had exotic cars and he had, he was living this, very wealthy lifestyle is essentially what he was portraying. And it was just another way to lure them in. And so what's very interesting is that one of the girls affiliated with that Anthony_shots profile had, within 24 hours of providing her address to that account, a man in a mask appeared outside of her bedroom window.
What?
Yes. So what I think potentially could have happened is that they were lured to the Monon High Bridge Trail by the Anthony_shots Snapchat profile. And the reason that she was on Snapchat taking that video was maybe even, hey, we're here at the meeting place, that who knows, right? But that's a potential reality that we have to at least consider, as far as I'm concerned, especially after reading through the court documents and the memorandum itself and understanding what had really happened to the defense that were attempting to represent Richard Allen, the alleged perpetrator, which that whole thing, absolutely not when it comes to his guilt, right?
So they're both in jail, but the one guy isn't in jail for this. He's in jail for kiddie porn.
Exactly. Unrelated, allegedly.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, but it's crazy. But Jose, you remember you had mentioned the federal investigator who had been effectively executed.
Yes.
And basically, ooh, I'm just like throwing all this shit at you, brother. I'm sorry, man. It's so
this is fired. I mean, sad fire,
right.
As a dad who has daughters, I just want to kill all these people.
Right. Is there somewhere I can send a tweet to you guys so you can pull up a picture of who I believe to potentially be?
Do you have a photo of it?
You could also just share it from your screen. Yeah,
you can also share it from your screen.
Okay.
Yeah, just what John usually right there.
A little sidebar. You mentioned like accelerationism there, and like kind of the 09A 764, and how they're like, kind of how they're attracting children. I don't know if you guys saw the latest shooting. I mean, I guess it was like one kid and himself. It's all they ended up doing. They released the manifesto recently. I don't know if you guys have gone down. You guys, I believe, have had BX on before, so you've talked about accelerationism in like 09A and 764, I believe.
I haven't had no.
Oh, I thought you had. Okay, whatever. Maybe you had. I'd recommend you having her on for this topic. But
let's go.
Yeah, this guy, the latest shooter, looks like he might be coming from like an accelerationist bent. You read that manifesto that just dropped, and it really is just like almost incomprehensible. It's literally just like almost written in a way just to offend, and it's just kind of ridiculous. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm one of the Tower Gang guys, so I'm not one who gets offended.
I love
easily.
Tower Gang.
So I'm just saying, like, it literally is just saying stuff just with the intent to offend. You can read it. I mean, I don't know if you want to read it. It literally drops the N-bomb, like literally probably every 10
what
words.
Are you trying to get me rock hard? Listen.
Yeah, right? I mean, get you bricked up, dog.
So hold on. So what is the accelerant? Tell me about this, because you're saying things that I haven't heard before. Let me hear about this.
Accelerationism. Like I said, this is definitely more BX's realm. This is what the kind of where she specialized. But this is just been this thing, kind of a methodology, I guess would be a way to put it, that's kind of been moving with certain circles. It runs a lot in like Satanism type online. It's like a young Zoomer type thing is kind of the vibe. But the idea is just to kind of accelerationism. It's just to make things worse. So supposedly these people have been infiltrating all different sorts of groups and without, absent ideology. The idea being like it's not like they're like, oh, we're going to push all these causes on the left because we like the left, or no, like they're just pushing anything that will accelerate, that will push. Like they're going to be the guys that like, hey, we're going to try to somehow, whatever way we can, whether it be send people or aggravate the situation online. We're going to aggravate the January 6th situation. We're going to aggravate a BLM.
Yeah, I've watched your video on this.
Yeah,
I've watched you do videos on it.
Mm-hmm.
For the purpose, what is she saying the purpose is?
It's just, I guess, disaffect. I mean, obviously she may have different things, but I would guess probably disaffected
Chaos,
young
just
people,
as much chaos as possible.
Yeah, a lot of these are disaffected young kids, and it's kind of this hurt people thing, especially with like the 09A 764 thing. Like the 764 is literally, as Austin was mentioning, it's this online group of kids that's like got Satanism aesthetic, and to some extent it might actually be legit. It's in the idea is that these are young kids that are on like, I don't know, Roblox or all the different. I mean, I'm not really a tech savvy guy. Like, I don't know the different things. They're all in these different chat rooms that the kids hang out on, and then they will get them, or these say like self-harm type chat rooms or whatever. They'll find people like young girls that are depressed or whatever. They'll say, oh, I'm here for you. Like, oh, you should cut yourself. You should cut my name on you. And then then now it's like, oh, now I have a photo of you where you cut yourself. I mean, it'd be a real shame if your dad found about this. You should send me more. And so then now it's like kind of this tumble gets worse. And what you got to think, though, this is generational. So like this has been going on for a while. So the sad thing about this situation, you see all these arrests that have been coming in recently for a lot of these 764 guys. A lot of them are in like the 17 to early 20 range or whatever. So they're just young adults. And so they kind of came up in this. So they were like 12, 13, 14 at one point. And they likely probably had someone who did something similar to them. And then they did the same thing. So it's kind of this, I don't know what I struggle to wrap my head around that kind of desperation or hopelessness. I mean, luckily, I guess.
Have you seen any of the videos of like on YouTube where they catch a predator? Like it's some of them, like, I mean, obviously they're piece of shits, but you kind of like, oh, dude, this guy fucking, he's young. Like you're like, damn, this fool, they'll catch like a 21-year-old, which is still a piece of shit, but it's not like, yo, go, yeah, you're right, Johnny, to death. But you just watch the video and you're just, sometimes you're like, man, and then it just
they seem autistic.
Yeah.
They seem like so many of these guys that are being caught like at a Walmart. Like one dude wasn't. The weirdest one I ever saw was this little gay twink guy who's trying to meet up with like some underage, and his parents drove him there. It was like the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, that's so strange.
It's so strange. And he was like super defiant. Like he had no clue how deep he was in trouble. And he was
like,
just.
What was the age gap? What was it? Was it like a significant? Was he like 19?
Like I think the kid that they were role playing as was like 15, and this kid looked like he was maybe 23, 20.
That's not cool. Yeah.
But the thing was, like, this kid got caught and he was so defiant. It was just like, this is a generation that's never felt punishment. They don't understand that, like, you can't just emotionally force your way out of situations, and it was just very weird. So I watch all these guys that get busted by these pedo hunters, and I again, like Xavier said, fuck these guys, but they do seem like they're on the spectrum and they have no clue what how to interact with people normally.
Like they're still forgiving them. Like they're still trying to get away with it when they know they're fucked, and they're still kind of like, well, I didn't really send that out, and they're like, dude, he has all the proof.
But it's even like they just are so socially awkward.
No, they have a problem. I mean, it's a problem.
I mean, to be fair, how do you navigate that situation socially? How do you not be awkward?
Dude, you see guys that know that are listen. This is not saying we gotta forgive them. I'm not saying that at all. I think these guys are like, I will murk these motherfuckers. But what I'm saying is they seem to be very deep on the spectrum of not having social etiquette. Whereas there are those guys who just are pieces of shit. Like there's so many guys that you think are pedos, and they just have that aura of like they can't talk to adult women. They're such pieces of shit, right? They just can't do it. So they're just pieces of shit. And these guys that get busted, they're pieces of shit. I'm just saying they seem to be on the spectrum. They seem to have zero social etiquette or skills or anything like that.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Makes them a very vulnerable target when it comes to a lot of this. Like, honestly, when I was doing the Omar Mateen episode, what I realized was that Omar Mateen, James Wesley Howe, Michael Sanford specifically, right, and all these individuals. He's allegedly not allegedly, he is the kid from the UK on the spectrum, autistic. He was lured into this this radicalization ideological pipeline right online. He was targeted specifically because of his vulnerabilities. And then also what inevitably took place is that he's lured down to the Treasure Island Hotel and Casino Resort in Vegas. And this is in 2016. This is during the election year, right? Between Hillary and Trump. And it's during a Trump campaign rally, campaign event. He's having this at the Treasure Island, I believe, the Treasure Island Resort Casino. And essentially what happens is this Michael Sanford, young kid from the UK who's on the spectrum, it attempts to grab the service revolver of one of the Metropolitan Police in Vegas and use it to assassinate Donald Trump.
People don't realize it, but those are free. Those are free, guys. You can take
free.
Service revolver. But yeah, so he grabs
crazy.
it, he gets wrestled to the ground, and what he tells the authorities is that he was grabbing the service revolver in an attempt to assassinate Donald Trump. And in my mind, you know, that I was, first of all, I was unaware that ever even took place. I didn't even know that happened. And until I was doing the research and investigating the Omar Mateen Pulse nightclub shooting. Because Omar Mateen, if you listen to the whole police recording, he's talking to this hostage negotiator effectively because he's keeping hostages locked in the bathroom in the Pulse nightclub, and he's telling them about additional shooters on buildings outside. And oh yes, it's amazing because honestly, what James Wesley Howell, who at the very same day, okay, in 2016, when Omar Mateen lights up the Pulse nightclub, James Wesley Howell drives over to the Los Angeles Pride Parade for the LGBTQ community with an arsenal in his truck and pipe bombs ready to set.
I remember
right?
that story.
Yeah, man. So he gets apprehended, right? And you know what happens when James Wesley Howell is apprehended? He tells this woman who is, and by the way, that if you didn't know, Omar Mateen has this glowing background, entirely compromised as far as his family is concerned. Siddiqui Mateen, his father.
Yeah.
You look into that, brother, and you just
pictures with Obama, right?
Oh, he was at the Clinton rally, not far away, as close as possible to the Pulse nightclub shooting, just after the event, holding a Hillary Clinton campaign sign in support of her, on the camera, positioned on the camera behind her in those spots where it's very obviously, been arranged seating, right? And there's a reason for this. And what is so strange is that he even gets interviewed by local media after the fucking campaign rally. And he gives this glowing statement about how much Donald Trump is this dangerous threat to the domestic United States, and that Hillary Clinton is really the plausible alternative, and then even mentions gun legislation, which instantly should raise red flags.
100%.
It's a McVeigh parallel all the way, dude. Like, this is what it feels like.
Was really weird because do you guys remember like the footage from the local news where like somebody was carrying somebody and they were like he's dead or he's wounded, and then like they catch him setting him down, they both walk off. It's like the weirdest shit. And then because there was this whole time where like shooting was just everywhere, and you remember there was one bar here in LA, it was a country bar. And this is when I start to go, okay, nonlinear warfare. They're trying to cause us to fight with each other by giving us enough stuff for both times. And you remember when they say, oh, we got footage from inside the bar, and then you hear shots, but there's nobody in the bar.
Right.
There's nobody in the bar. And you're like, that's really weird, but that's done on purpose. So now the conspiracy theorists run off. Oh, dude, there's no one in the bar. There's a false flag. Then the gun safety people, they have their story. So we never come together ever. All these weird things. And if you even go back, another weird thing is the Pulse nightclub is connected to the Vegas shooting, in that the guy, the brother of the Vegas shooter that we're told, he has a PR agent.
Oh, yeah.
And the PR agent represents the gay bar.
Oh my God! Stop it! I
That's
did not
wild.
know that. I gotta write
Represents
this
the
down,
gay bar,
brother.
and then right after that, he gets banged for kiddie porn.
Mm.
Oh yeah. That seemed to
Wasn't
be.
it him and his brother got busted for kiddie porn or some shit like that, or both of them, like posthumously? Or am I wrong there?
I know it was. I know it was his brother because what it seemed to be was that well first, man, let me pull it up because honestly I remember that it was he was definitely the brother was kind of introducing this alternative
fucking
theory
interview,
dude, it really was. It was very strange. But what I remember specifically was that it seemed to kind of fall within the framework. But here's the issue that I have is that there was Silkway's airline, right, which is something that people are a little bit unaware of, which very much seems to have been not only a weapons trafficking operation, but also a potential sex trafficking operation where they could have also been trafficking young children, right? Because there seems to have been
I think sorry not to cut you off, dude, but I think one thing we miss here is I think from that interview, I know I'm not assuming, obviously the audience hasn't watched it. I think there's an implication there. This is almost generational when it came here. Like, I don't know if you caught that, Austin.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a component of that where he's talking about borrowing extensive amount of money from his mother, and then also his mother was like linked up with, I forget what specifically, I don't remember what company it was offhand, but essentially she was banging some CEO of some big fucking, like, I believe a military contract type corporation. So there was there's some weird shit going on there, and I want to say he did like patents for like aviation or some shit, something weird. But yeah, it's a weird story for sure. You got something else?
No doubt, buddy. Yeah, I have again, I'm trying to pull it up. I should have had it ready already, but here we go. Basically, I of course keep in mind that I always kind of like stage the context of the Vegas shooting in the framework of Operation Fast and Furious, which again, like that should always like raise the eyebrows of everyone in regard to the immigration crisis being exploited and leveraged by the intelligence community to sort of like, introduce these again, what seem to be these manufactured they're really just misconceptions because they attempt to seed these deliberate psychological threats in the subconscious mind. And so we're consistently, you look at, like, let's say Sarah Adams and the Sean Ryan podcast are recent examples of this.
Yeah,
where
I mean, we've been talking about that fool for a little while now, and again, reach is a great way to push this Mockingbird thing. And again, we've his whole thing, like, I'm hiding, I'm going in hiding, you'll never get me. And then he's like fighting with people on the internet in the comment section. Like, I thought you were in hiding, dude. Now you're getting all butthurt because everyone's saying you're controlled op because you had this fucking PE teaching looking lesbian chick on telling people if they question 9/11, they're helping the terror. I mean, like, come on, dude. Come on.
Dude.
I did want to take a second to point out, this is something I thought maybe we get into, because I think one of the notes we sent over was like, year of the PSYOP and all this shit going on. I think there is something too with all these cool vet bro operator types or whatever the fuck they are. It seems to be that somehow they're inserting themselves into like every fucking conspiratorial narrative right now. We were talking about the fires earlier. I almost I was very close to tongue in cheek mentioning how, like, obviously it was Al Qaeda. That was something that was brought up on the Sean Ryan show recently as a possibility. And then you have the Matthew Livelsberger thing.
Dude? Wildfire jihad, Sam.
Yeah, not even kidding. Yeah. And then we have the Matthew Livelsberger fucking Cybertruck thing ties right into Stephen Greer and Disclosure Project shit too, because he goes into, so it's like it ties into the alien stuff, it ties into the drone stuff, it ties into China, ties into the fire stuff. Like they're just constantly, like, any way they can, they're just ham-fisting their way into the narrative right now. It just is the feeling that somehow all conspiracies loop back to, well, we fucking told you so. I mean, like, that's what they all seem to be coming back to right now. Like, that's the feeling that everything, they're going to be like Nostradamus, and when something happens, they're going to be like, I fucking told you so. You know what I mean? Like that's the feeling.
Well,
I'm
it
getting
definitely
right now.
gets weird that he present the problem with, let's say, the Cybertruck thing. It wasn't necessarily that the email wasn't real, because it ended up being real, even though we saw squiggly lines and all that stuff, which means he probably copied and pasted it to something. But it's the presenting of the information as, oh, this is China, when in reality, it's like it's a Scooby-Doo every time. It's Scooby-Doo cartoon where we pull the mask.
It's a Fed that gave information to a Fed that was presented by another Fed who then gave it to us.
Yeah, it's just it's always the intelligence agencies every time. Every time. Hey guys, real quick, I'll tell you about a real important issue to men, and that is hair loss. And guys, just because you lost your hair doesn't mean you can't get it back. Let me tell you about our good friends at Hims. Try Hims hair loss solution, and you'll be joining hundreds of thousands of subscribers who found their hair again. Okay.
Hims provides you with convenient and quality access to a range of hair loss treatments that work all from the comfort of your couch. Hims makes treating hair loss simple with doctor-trusted options and clinically proven ingredients like finasteride and minoxidil that can regrow hair in as little as 3 to 6 months. Choose from personalized, chewable, oral, spray, and serum treatments to find what works best for you. The process is simple and 100% online, so there's never uncomfortable doctor visits to deal with. Answer a few questions, and a medical provider will determine if treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your treatment is sent directly to you, right to your door, for free. No insurance is needed, and one low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care. Hims has hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and they can help you get your confidence back too with visibly thicker and fuller hair.
Start your free online visit today at hims.com/tinfoil hat. That is HIMS.com/tinfoil hat for your personal hair loss treatment options. HIMS.com/tinfoil hat.
Results vary based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil and finasteride. Prescription products require an online consultation and a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
And we thank Hims for sponsoring this show.
It's basically become a choose your own reality simulation wherever you fall on the political spectrum ideologically. I think it's full spectrum dominance. It's kind of like this common theme we've been discussing on Already Dead, and as far as just, it seems as if there are these manufactured false narratives waiting in the wings, no matter where you fall on the political spectrum. And I think that is by design, right? It's to make sure that you remain within this false framework of the establishment narrative, wherever you may fall once again. And so it never really matters when it comes to all the conclusions that the vast majority of people tend to come to are within that false framework. So they're never actually critically thinking for themselves and addressing, right? Like what I am consistently focused on is kind of the art of war, right? Know your enemy. And so my ultimate goal is we share a common enemy, brother, no matter where you are on the political spectrum. Is that really not clear and obvious by now? And the idea that, this isn't some sort of like modern serfdom, some type of essentially what David Icke likes to say, the gradual tiptoe toward totalitarianism. I mean, we're on that path. We've been on that path. And it's essentially been, I would say what really has effectively taken place is that what's being ushered in at this very moment, you see the power standing tall behind Trump. As much as I want to remain hopeful and hope for the best at all times, I'm not offering up a black pill. I believe that you can find, liberty and sovereignty as an individual in your own life and try to maximize those qualities as much as you possibly can. And surround yourself with people who are worthwhile, worth spending your time with, that make you a better person, that drive you to, push forward in your life. That's kind of the best way we can kind of cope with the current state of reality in my mind. And as much as I don't like to put it in those terms, I'm very concerned. You see the $500 billion AI infrastructure plan being trotted out by Oracle and Larry Ellison, CIA. That's
and
the
again,
CIA.
this gets into something you sent to me, which is recycled propaganda, which is here we go again, two people that have nothing to do with health. And, and I have my problems with our modern health industry, whether it's the pharmaceuticals or the way we deal with disease. I have major problems with that. But once again, we're having people who aren't doctors trying to tell us what health is. I mean, this Sam, what's his name again, Johnny? Sam
Altman.
Yeah. Stepping in about vaccines when this guy just got accused of murdering somebody and molesting his sister.
Oh yeah, dude. Project Stargate, though, you guys. So like it's how can we not see the totalitarian technocratic state forming around us? Right. I mean, it's like we're ushering it through. It's a means of convenience, and it's something that I kind of like staged that narrative in my DARPA episode because it's very obvious that LifeLog Project is Facebook. I mean, come on. How is anyone under the false impression that this wasn't a pass the keys to your cutout that you manufactured as the persona Zuckerberg, and you pass the keys of this brilliant genius and you pass it into the private sector and you have plausible deniability. No longer it's this intelligence front.
Yeah, I want to take a second for a little cautious optimism here. I mean, me and Austin actually got into this recently. I think this makes for good content, though. There's a slight bit of a disagreement. He's a little bit more black pilled on the Trump administration coming in, and I get it. I'm the same page, but there's been a recent development. To me and him were like pretty much neck and neck in the same spot there. But there was a recent development that's caused me to slightly shift, or at least leave a little room open for like I might be wrong on being so doomer. I guess I don't even know if doomer is the right word on Trump, but there was a few things actually. The peace deal, the Gaza peace deal, I really think is a weird signal, especially when the more I looked into it, the more I started to understand the specifics, the political power that the Likud party is losing as a result of it. Like they have essentially gone from having I believe it was like around 67
on power.
Yeah, they had something like a 67 out of 120 vote count over this. Ben Gvir, their finance minister, ended up leaving and took his votes with them. So now they're
that guy's
62.
The biggest piece of shit on the planet, and he should be fucking strapped down and have 1,000 Palestinians run a train on him. That guy's a piece of shit.
But that result,
tough guy with a gun and bodyguards. I mean, just a tough guy with a gun and bodyguards. Fucking piece of shit.
100%.
But that resulted in them having now only, I believe it's like 62 or something like that. So a slim majority. And there's other people threatening that if they don't pick up hostilities after the first phase, they will leave as well, thus causing him to lose a majority. And if you understand Netanyahu's stance, currently he's had to deal with corruption. Like basically the war is kind of what's keeping him afloat.
Yeah.
So them pushing this back. There's a lot and then you have the TikTok ban, Trump pushing back. I know there's lots of asterisks for all the things here and that like there's a but and all these. But I really struggle to see this as anything but an L on Israel's side. And so it's like, it makes me wonder what's going on here. Is there some sort of like real boy moment here? Like what? I mean, I get it. It is kind of also this like Iran Contra moment of like, release the hostages, kind of like make us look cool coming in. Exactly. But it just seems incredibly uncharacteristic of Israel. They are not a giving nation. They are not generous, even to their benefactors, which is what we are. They're a parasitic state upon us.
They really are.
So the idea that this is happening is kind of like, it makes me wonder what's going on there. Are there games behind the scenes that I don't know about? I am unsure, especially when you know that he got $100 million from Miriam Adelson. It's like, is this a strong signal of like your money don't mean shit, bitch? I don't know. It may be. I might be completely wrong, and he just goes back to cradling Zionist balls after this. But that did kind of open my eyes, and make me realize maybe something's going on here. But then he also did label the cartels terrorists, and that freaked me the fuck out.
I have thoughts on that. Well, one thing I'm going to say is he's putting out a lot of stuff right now. Now, listen, I don't trust any politician. I'm a politically nihilist atheist, okay? Atheist, nihilist, anarchist, whatever you want to call it when it comes to politics. I don't trust any of these guys. But again, I'm kind of like Austin. I'm rooting for him because he is kind of the front man to this giant thing that I live in called America, right? So I'm rooting for him to succeed. I make no illusions of things that he's done, things he could do. One thing I will tell you is like he has to play a game. He cannot go after the FBI, you know. He can't go after the FBI. He can't go after the cartels. He can't go after the Fed and Israel. That's called the JFK plan, and we all know how that ended, right? So he has to play a little bit of a game. Now, we all are hoping that he plays the game in our favor. It would be nice to have some wins, and I think we've gotten some wins. And maybe again, you know, I every time I start talking positive about Trump, I hear the whispers of Whitney Webb, right?
I know, man. She's right in my ear.
Yeah, I'm very cautious, okay? But I also don't want to be blackpilled because then I don't want to do the show. I'll figure out a way to make money some other way. But, you know, so I'm very cautious. But there are things that I like that he's already talking about. He's talking about, you know, obviously you got Ross Ulrich, or however you pronounce his last name.
Yeah.
He's out. We're excited about that, right? I hope they return his Bitcoin. They're never going to do it, but I hope
those motherfuckers, they seized that shit.
They sold a big chunk of it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, they sold billions.
We were looking on Tower Gang, and there was some sort of tweet of like somebody had just opened a Bitcoin that'd been sitting for like a few decades or something.
Oh my God, stop.
I mean, I don't know if that's a joke tweet or what that was, but I don't know. I think maybe.
Yeah, I saw that too. I wasn't sure either. Yeah, you know what? I hope it's his, and I hope he's a wealthy man now. Good for him.
Me too, and I hope he
government takes it. Do they sell it? When the government takes
Same.
it, do they sell it or do they hold it?
No, they just hold.
Dude, they cashed in,
right?
brother.
They can sell.
They cashed in.
They sold some
They
recently.
did sell it.
Oh, they did sell it.
A few weeks ago, they sold a big chunk. Yeah, somebody.
Billions, dude. Yeah. I covered it on the show with Jose actually because they made a pretty penny just before this pardon came down. So I felt like that was by design as well, right? They're going to cash in on him before he sees the light of day. I mean, of course. I mean, what was the point?
I want to throw another little sub note on my cautious optimism thing. I think there's another thing too. This isn't so much. I want to add in that there's a little caveat. This isn't so much a statement of my like thinking Trump is a great, you know, moral good man or whatever, so much as I think that maybe we might be dealing with a new dynamic going forward, and that literally the people in this room, I know it's cheesy when Elon Musk says it, and it kind of makes me want to like not say it, but we are the media. Like the mainstream media is done. They are gone. They are done for. The best chance, the closest thing they have is the Sean Ryans of the world that are clawing for relevance. And like, I mean, I'm sure, I guess, he has it. But like my point being is there's just a few of those ones in there that we all know kind of glow. And that's really about it. But aside from that, we are the media now. It's going to be a lot harder for them to get away with bullshit. I mean, you have somebody like Trump that has such a huge ego. I really think that is not to, you know, fillet ourselves here. I think we have a big part to play and really are shaping the way things go, because it's like they kind of just can't get away with doing as much bullshit anymore. There's too many voices out there.
It is interesting, and he does have an opportunity to go down as the greatest to ever do it. And we have seen where people have been a puppet and they've had this moment where I call it the Pinocchio moment, where it's like, I'm a real boy. And they just start to do their own thing. And, you know, they get taken out. Now, in our modern day, we're aware of the game plan. Like when they take out JFK, we were so innocent back then. And that was the beginning of this, what we call the George Bush death cult coming in and taking over. That has been in power ever since Trump's first, and now this administration seems to be a different group of people coming in. Not saying they're better. I'm hoping they're better. I'm hoping they're way better. I already feel like 20 days. You're like, what is it? Like 3 days of Trump is better than 4 fucking years of Joe Biden already. I mean, you can't sit there and go, you don't think it's better. You can't. I mean, there are some fucking wins here that bring us back to common sense. Not saying he's not up to any good, but we have had some wins.
One day of Trump, and we already got Sieg Heil's back. They're back, baby. We're doing them now.
Not against it. Not against it. Not against it. Sorry.
That was so funny. That
the way everybody gets fucking loses it, they just love it because in reality, it gives them a reason to bitch. Oh man, my life's so good. This guy threw out a Sig Heil. Ah, you know I'm fighting. The nipples get hard. They're just like.
Did you see him though? He was acting so autistic. He comes out like slamming his head. Like, that was the funniest thing I've ever watched, honestly, in my life, dude.
Yeah.
But
imagine the money you would have won if you would have bet on that.
Right. But they do have AOC doing this. What? What? I mean, she's like, I know they're freezing a lot of stuff where people are like, I just want to say to you in the back. They're freezing, but they got her thing. She's going, and then they're just doing that. You're like, I'm sorry, bro. It's
the
like,
hand thing. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, we are in people in our community are guilty of doing the same thing, freezing people holding their hands.
Oh yeah, we won't even do the fake ones,
man.
I'd rather throw a Heil Hitler on here and get this clipped than throw any kind of throw any eyes, cover an eye.
I really struggle to write this one off. That was a Sig Heil, dude. I mean, I think maybe he was just being a silly goose, throwing a Sig Heil out there, meant nothing by it, but I think it was a Sig Heil.
I also don't care. I don't
care either. I think I wanted to be a Sig Heil.
Like, I know, dude. Like, kill all the protected class. That's what I say at this point. If you're okay with calling Muslims terrorists, or you're okay with calling Catholics pedophiles, or Christians nationalists, throw up a Sig Heil.
Well, also, dude, the ADL is out there tweeting on his behalf, like, "Hey, you know, give the guy a break." You know,
Well, you don't know how much. You don't know how much
strange.
Elon gave him after that.
Yeah.
Oh God, dude, I'm telling you right now, like, Elon fits the mold of what I view to be like the manufactured persona, the created cutout for the deep state, the intelligence agencies, and I really do truly believe that, as much as it sounds like it's you know, clearly
well,
a black
would they have
pill.
him? Would they have their cutout doing Sig Heils? Do you think,
brother? I honestly think he's autistic to a certain extent. Like, I truly do.
That's what I mean, though. Would
I tried to say that about these pedos. You all look like I was weird. I'm just telling you, these guys on the spectrum get retarded fast.
Absolutely. And I know what you mean, Johnny. Like, I really understand what you're saying, because again, I'm not like
he's a flawed vessel, I'll say, of that.
Right.
For them. Yeah.
I'm not certain of anything when it comes. Honestly, I really don't. I really don't like speaking in certain terms unless I have like concrete evidence.
Sam Altman is the guy, by the way. If you want that guy, that is Sam Altman. He's
Peter Thiel as well. Peter Thiel as well.
I think looking at Elon as a cutout might be the wrong way to put it. He has incentives that line up with it. So like him looking at it as like he is. Yeah,
but he rose to prominence through what? I mean, the State Department.
My point being is like looking at him as a future created. I mean, he could be created, but I think it's a mixture, a confluence
of factors. It was the MDDS program and Total Information Awareness, the TIA, that was essentially led to this. All was being manufactured at the time, as far as the strategy itself within PATCON. Right, the Patriot conspiracy leading up to the OKC bombing, Total Information Awareness, TIA, was all a part of the rise of the DARPA, as far as just the realization essentially that they had a new frontier that they needed to conquer, essentially, right? And that was it. Clearly, we're pivoting to the digital age, and that was essentially it. We need to corral all of these people who are now becoming more dissident voices. We need to corral them back from fleeing from, kicking and screaming from the death of the mainstream media. We need to corral them back into the establishment narrative by, clearly offering up these misconceptions.
You are the
brother.
media.
And so you trace this back to the Edge Foundation. What's going on? Have you read the Third Culture dossier by Johnny Vedmore? Because it's amazing. And he actually killed it when it comes to when Jeffrey Epstein met Elon Musk. And you start to trace, okay, so whoever attended the Edge dinners, the billionaire Edge dinners, throughout the 1990s, leading into the 2000s, right? They're very obviously compromised, and almost within the context, no, not almost, directly within the context of cybernetics and this new digital MK Ultra style framework of using EMF, electromagnetic frequencies, various methods. You look up Dr. Robert Duncan. Jose and I have talked about it plenty of times, as far as in the context of the James Holmes, Aurora, Colorado, right? The cinema shooting, because effectively what occurred was this individual who was a Harvard alum, right, and a doctor as well. But it's very interesting because essentially what he exposes is this new modern form and the modern techniques behind, this sort of Manchurian candidate, MK Ultra, potential right sophisticated techniques that have kind of, taken the day as far as what they utilize now in the field. And so again, this guy is a Harvard graduate, investigator, and author of the book called Project Soul Catcher: Secrets of Cyber and Cybernetics Revealed. And this guy explained that in 2012, that over the past 10 years, he had personally interviewed more than 650 people who claimed to have been under government mind control programs. And many of them said they were
This is a book?
Yeah, brother.
What's it called again?
It's called Project Soul Catcher: Secrets of Cyber and Cybernetics Revealed. And Dr. Robert Duncan is this individual's name. And I have witnessed him on a few different interviews make these claims. And he seemed to be a very credible source. Like, and not at all was, again, keep everyone at arm's length, remain skeptical at all times, but discern for yourself whether this is legitimate information that you might feel is sort of potentially there's enough corroborating evidence to kind of reinforce the narrative. Because I truly do believe that cybernetics is kind of the new frontier.
Look how much this book cost.
$50.
Wow.
$52. When anything above $30, they don't want you buying it.
Exactly. Yep. And so what's crazy is that these individuals, over 650 people that he allegedly had interviewed and worked with, said they were in this program called Manchurian Candidate ID Program Free. And he allegedly went to the Senate Intelligence Committee and met with over 26 senators, as well as the head of the Los Angeles FBI. And then after working with this consortium of scientists on a research project for over 8 years, he and his colleagues provided the closest estimate that they could come to and reach. And they claim that there are about 10,000 Manchurian candidates in the works being programmed by the CIA right now that can be used at any time around the world. However, he concluded by explaining that only a small percentage actually become successful Manchurians. So keep this in mind, because this blew my mind, that there's almost like a time frame they're working with before they potentially become aware of their programming. And that as well as, by the way, they're being programmed with subliminals in their sleep by EMF frequencies, right?
Bro, you're so on. Jim Lee came on with Topher Gardner, and that's exactly what they were talking about. Frequencies. They're able to put out frequencies.
Voice of God shit, yeah.
Right,
exactly.
so
let's
break it down. Well, there was something with Obama had just come out where he was involved in something that they didn't want him to be involved with. Like, oh, we got you. You're like, and then the next day at the Kansas City Chiefs fucking Super Bowl, bang, someone just shows up and starts shooting motherfuckers, right? Like right after, all of a sudden the Obama stuff goes away, bang. Dude. That's what we're talking about. These programs, video games, psychedelic, all these big pharmaceutical drugs, bang, bang, bang.
Absolutely.
Frequency put out. They don't know who's going to do it. They don't know. They're just trying to catch one of these guys to go nuts, to go shoot up a school, shoot up something that steals the national narrative. Now, like there's so much information coming out. It wasn't until these new fires that popped up that people started talking about fires again. Guys, let's be honest. The fire story was dying in LA. Isn't that crazy? Like everyone had kind of started to move on, which is nuts to me because it's the information highway. It's constantly churning out shit. And now we're back into it because there are these fires going on, but that's how it goes, dude.
I mean, was there fires during COVID? Was there a big fire of COVID 2018 that burned down all half of LA or something?
There was a big fire in 2020.
Yeah, that was Paradise.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, XG. Dude, you got to understand, man. Klaus Schwab has a vision for Los Angeles. By 2028, we're going to implement the new smart city infrastructure, the 15-minute city infrastructure, which is, by the way, a part of the new $500 billion AI infrastructure by Larry Ellison and the CIA. But, nobody wants to talk about that. But the main problem, though, is that what is so fascinating about all of this is that, man, it's again, you had basically, again, like I said, he claims that. Well, first of all, I want to remember this because before we move on, you had just mentioned that they have these individuals, waiting in the wing, green light go whenever they kind of like so choose in a way. But also, what I think is, do you remember that story that surfaced about
real quick, real quick aside? I just wanted to mention, just for those who aren't aware, who's the Sandy Hook guy? I can't remember his name right now. I don't know why I just completely blanked his name. Lanza. He was complaining about frequencies shortly before he went on his spree.
Hey man, James Holmes, he's working over here on the DARPA HIMEMS program and peak soldier performance program. That's what James Holmes was a part of. And his dad and Adam Lanza's dad were involved in the LIBOR scandal, which is one of the craziest things of all time. Oh yeah, brother. 100%, man. It's one of the craziest stories I've ever heard in my life. But when I covered the James Holmes episode and that came to my attention, it just felt like something that was almost undeniable when it came to especially understanding their direct, like James Holmes' father and grandfather was a spook, right? So again, like you consider what Jose mentioned about Stephen Paddock and his family.
Dude, sorry. All right, once again.
No, you're good.
All right, not to throw shade out there, but like, I don't know. I think maybe you were there for that morning dump when I covered this. But do you know Michael Benz's dad worked for James Jesus Angleton? Like, not dad, his grandpa. I think it was his grandpa. Mike Benz's grandpa worked for fucking. I mean, it's maybe fact check. His grandpa wasn't glowy. His grandpa was like his great uncle. But yeah, James Jesus Angleton, who was like the counter intel guy under Dulles. Like he was the guy who sniffed out fucking rats. Like essentially, that was his job. That dude, fucking Mike Benz's grandpa worked for him. I'm not saying Mike Benz is a glowy. I don't fucking know. I'm just saying, what the fuck? That's weird. Just a fun little.
100%, buddy.
It's not too. It's pretty common stuff, generational. But I don't know. Maybe he's cool.
Dude, I could go into this forever with you guys. I don't want to keep you too late. What I want to do is get your final thoughts as we wrap it up here. What's the latest on the PizzaGate news?
Oh shit, brother. Yeah, I dropped that in the notes, Jose, just so you know, because I was I had found something recently. I was going to bring this to the show not yesterday, whenever we did the morning dump on Monday, I think. I don't fucking remember. Maybe it was Tuesday. I was going to bring it already. It doesn't matter. But still, what I thought was fucking nuts is that basically I had found this connection. First of all, when I went on William's show just recently to talk about the Delphi murders, he tells me about how Haley Welch, the Haktua girl, could potentially be related to Edgar Madison Welch,
I've heard that.
Shooter who went. But here's the problem that I have, because I know who Edgar Madison
who was the shooter. Let the audience know. You gotta say who it was. You breezed over that. The audience needs to know.
Edgar Madison Welch is the shooter
who shot up the computer
pizza. Yeah, yes, exactly.
Who had gotten in a major accident 2 weeks before that. Somebody may have died or been really injured. So that's the weird shit about that. So, and his father, you want to get into like generational shit. His father had this weird production company that did like
Forever Young.
Forever Young. I love that I'm telling this to the guy who knows it all. But it's like did weird children's entertainment filming, and also was basically the head of the Habitat for Haitian Orphans that worked with the Clinton. That guys, if you ever want to go, when did I realize Pizzagate was real? Is when I discovered that moment right there.
100%, brother. Yep.
Look what I found.
His brother? No way. It's his brother.
I don't know. I just found it right now. So
and they say
last names are the same.
What's interesting is they sort of deny it with no like legitimate corroborating evidence at all, but they also don't officially there's no sort of official conclusion to these articles that I read through in regard to the relationship and if they are related. Now, my number one concern is that I know who Edgar Madison Welch's father is, so I need to find out who Haley Welch's father is, because that would probably solve that.
I think it would probably solve it as well, and I just have a feeling it's not true.
Right? And she's supposed to be
a great story. and and here we are, a woman who like, this guy's got 2 kids. One of them shoots up a pizza parlor, then gets out of jail, gets killed, and then let's say it's true, his next daughter is talking about spitting on dicks, and then she just rug pulls people for $50 million. Like, what kind of parent are you?
We had a phrase in journalism called "too good to check," and this is definitely one of those facts that's too good to check.
Yeah,
let's not look
sure, dude.
Yeah,
yeah. I don't even want to look it up at this point, but
I choose to believe it.
Exactly. If you remember, Sam, the Best the Pizza, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the whole thing is just all of it. It's all
3
like
doors
people
down. You know what I think was happening?
And that guy that owned that was Elefantis' lawyer.
Oh, even crazier than that. So 3 doors down from Comet Ping Pong Pizza, of course, was this other pizza restaurant by the name of Besta Pizza. Now, Besta Pizza's logo happened to identically resemble the little boy lover pedophile code symbol based on the 2017 declassified FBI document that proved these coded symbols and the coded language that they operate in, like hot dogs, cheese pizza, walnut sauce, all this bullshit.
Is it the triangle spiral thing? Is that the one that it was, or the one
crooked one, right? Where it's little boy lover. The other one that's like more straight is actually just boy lover. And then in the little boy lover,
it's also, I think it was the triangle too, because it was like spiral. that, then that, then that. So it was definitely weird, and it's like, so I have a good friend of mine. He's done very well in Hollywood. He was like he was a tastemaker for a very long time, and he basically we had lunch one time, and he's like, "You don't believe in PizzaGate, do you?" Because he hates Donald Trump. He hates all that stuff. I'm fine with it. I have a lot of those people in my life, and I love that they are in my life.
Is it Brian Callen?
He goes, "You don't believe in Pizzagate, do you?" And I go, "No, not Brian Callen, but Brian's trying so hard. He's trying so hard. Like, he admits to a lot of it, and then he just defaults back to his factory setting, and it's so hard for him because he grew up around them. Yeah, that's it.
Yep. Right.
So at the minimum, okay, Pizzagate is Epstein at the minimum. That's at the minimum jumping off point.
The reason that it's the third rail, a taboo subject that you cannot bring, to the surface, is because this is an ongoing active child trafficking operation and network within Washington, D.C. And I think that is clearly why the cover up was in from day one, and especially when you consider, you had mentioned the owner, this head scratching connection, who owned Besta Pizza, and it was Andrew Klein, who happens to be one of the 4 attorneys for the Department of Justice serving in the Human Trafficking Prosecution Unit in the Civil Rights Division as a Clinton appointee. Now, he also provides nationwide training to United States attorneys on the prosecution of child trafficking cases. Theories began to emerge directly after this came forward, linking a handful of surrounding businesses to this Pizzagate conspiracy, even naming the Beyond Borders charity focused on Haiti and funded by the Clinton Foundation, allegedly working to end child slavery and prevent violence against women and girls in Haiti. This grew to a crescendo when ultimately the 28-year-old actor with a confirmed IMDb page by the name of Edgar Madison Welch would play out his next role as a disturbed conspiracy theorist driven by QAnon to drive to D.C. with an AR-15, only to fire 3 shots that allegedly struck the wall, a desk, and a door. But we all know that it was the computer hard drive that was clearly targeted. And so, in a very unusual display of police response, Welch was uncuffed while still at the supposed crime scene and can be seen standing in a very casual pose with his hands on his waist. And he would later explain to the cops that he had planned to self-investigate the conspiracy. However, another version of this story has been circulating, and that posits that Edgar Madison Welch had actually lived in Haiti for a time, only recently coming back before his unusual trip to Comet Ping Pong Pizza. It turns out there exists a compelling alternative theory that Welch was actually there in order to provide a palatable false flag narrative to the public all while staving off the need for a legitimate investigation into the claims being made surrounding human trafficking through these particular businesses. This inherently painted these business owners as the victims of harassment, and now even potential violence in the minds of the public. So Edgar Madison Welch, clearly an actor, whose IMDb page lists 3 films produced by Forever Young Productions.
Yeah.
And whose dad, Harry Welch Jr., not only owned Forever Young Productions, but also served as executive director for Protect a Child, a national nonprofit organization meant to prevent abuse and abduction of children. He's even reported to have a national security clearance from the Department of Defense.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, dude, same thing with Laura Silsby, who got busted in Haiti, is now working at basically Florida's version of the Amber Alert. That's how you do
system.
it.
Exactly.
And you know, just a final thoughts, and I'm going to let you guys go because you guys did me a super solid by jumping on tonight. Thank you. Is that this, brother. Again, the Sam Altman, is that his name? Sam Altman?
Yeah.
Like, again, the guy gets accused of molesting his sister for years, and now he's in a bigger position of power. This is how you compromise. I guarantee his sister's lawsuit will be nudged to a judge that will dismiss it.
Brother, the currency in DC is sexual blackmail, and the strategy is human compromise. That's it, man. You know what I mean? That is the currency of the elites. Yeah.
But I do believe that the you know, we had Crow 777 on, and he's been talking about how there seems to be this kind of, and this kind of goes into Jose's thing about not necessarily getting blackpilled, but this kind of rising of a conscious understanding of like, you know, again, we'll bring up my buddy Mike Romanelli talking about how like new downloads seem to be happening. Like people are downloading to a higher level of themselves that maybe these elites are fighting. Well, I told you about the nails are growing.
Think about the shit that's commonplace these days. Like we talked about Epstein, like it's just flippant. Like, oh, it might be Epstein at a minimum, like we said earlier, as if it was just what do you mean? What does that mean? Epstein, like you'd say 10 years ago, you said Epstein, and you explain that, you'd be like, what? Like this is like everyone just accepts this as a thing 10 years in the future. Yeah. Like, whoa. Right. Like, that's where we're at, you know?
I'm with you, dude. And like,
right, brother.
My girlfriend Dana, old school liberal, still watches MSNBC. The P. Diddy shit woke her up. She's questioning all this stuff. Why there are arsonists everywhere? What's up with these smart cities?
I love it. That's
people
the
are
hope
waking
right there,
up
brother.
all the time, dude.
Exactly.
So
man.
Great episode. God, I could talk to you guys. I wish this wasn't at night. I could talk to you guys for hours, man.
I know,
you guys
right?
do deep dive. I love this new generation that just coming up and popping up. I love that. You know,
Sam, you inspired the shit out of us. You know that, right? Like,
yes, Johnny, listen.
Legitimately, brother, you like, as much as you want to, you know, minimize this, I swear, brother, like, you opened the door for me, man. You provided the opportunity for me, and I am forever grateful for that. I have nothing but love in my heart for you guys, man. Like, I honestly do. And I was, just so you know, genuinely, I've been a massive fan for years, and so it meant the world to me. And it was absolutely surreal when you allowed me on. That was my very first interview ever. I downloaded Zoom that fucking day, and ever since, you know, I've just been moving in the right direction, and I can't thank you enough, brother, because it means the world to me. And again, I love you guys, man. I got nothing but love in my heart for everybody here, whoever is in the audience. We are like-minded individuals, and my goal was to find my people. And I think that that's effectively happening. And I found people like Jose after that interview, and man, Jose's my brother now. I love him to death. And we're trying to build something together, and there's something so special and beautiful about that. How is there not hope? You know, like, how can you not? How could you be blackpilled? You know, when you're attempting to just better yourself on a daily basis and kind of reflect on what you're doing and who you are and your ideas in general, and remain objective and skeptical, because if we haven't been conditioned to understand that we cannot accept things at face value, then what the fuck have we learned, bro? You know? And so, one last thing. I love you guys so much, and all I really want to say is that we tend not to understand or grasp this true underlying power structure that seems far too complicated and sophisticated for even the general public to kind of comprehend, right? And that's like my ultimate goal, is to kind of like investigate those areas of interest, whatever's passionately obsessing me at the time. Like I'm trying to answer the unanswerable questions for myself. And so I'm only trying to bring to the table what genuinely blows my mind, boggles my mind, and it truly kind of like reinforces the alternative narrative in a really credible manner. And so what I've witnessed over the course of this election season, I see it within the context of my own family. You see it kind of coming to this climax, right? With the transition of power taking place, everything that's kind of happened, just this is natural. It's the political cycle, right? Well, you see the average person kind of fall victim to it. And again, it's people viciously defending these political actors, brother, over their closest friends, their closest families and relatives. You find them spitting venom like a snake, right? Like this is as far as just over an intentional facade. You know what I mean? And so it's if we can't really like acknowledge the fact that this has been unethically designed to disrupt our personal lives, you know what I mean? And
for sure,
really have us embrace very bad ideas. Right.
It's just even when the fires had died down, they were just constantly telling you fires everywhere. 100%, dude. And I want to end on this: the fire jihadist. It's crazy that the fire jihadists are just totally helping the fucking BlackRock people. It's like
exactly.
It's so crazy.
The land grabs.
Jose, do you want to last thoughts and just both you guys, real quick, give where they can find you?
Yeah, well, I appreciate you having me on. I was glad to be here. We do dangerous all the time over
Dangerous,
our channel.
Dude. I love it.
Barely even touched the limit of our dangerous. We had thrown out. We actually should be back here in about a month. We were going to talk about how Gladio is kind of like an everything conspiracy. It gets real dark. That's kind of where we hang out, child trafficking, drugs, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, Duke Tro, the Duke Tro stuff. Yeah. We could go forever. It gets real dark. Man. All that stuff we were talking about at the end, PizzaGate. We'll tie that all into friggin' government kill squads, Gladio, all that. It'll be fun. So I look forward to that. But yeah, I have the No Way Jose podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at Tower Gang Jose. But yeah, people mostly know me probably for my OKC coverage. I got a great playlist of that, around 20 hours. But yeah, I do the morning dump. Me or Austin does it, on my channel or on his channel, depending on who's hosting it for the day, or both. But we do that every day, 10 a.m. Eastern. So pop in for that. And then we try to do it on weekends as well. And then also we do Already Dead on Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. So that's where you can call it. It's a call-in show as well, so you can shoot the bull with us. And then I put out content about interviews. I mostly just as you can tell by this episode, I mostly just corral Austin's autism into a meaningful area. That's mostly what I do. I'm his handler. I'm Austin's handler.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so that's what we do here, and that's how the magic happens.
We should get together sometime and talk. It's
hey Johnny, fuck you.
Wow,
we'd have a lot to
relate. Handlers unite.
Great episode. We'll get into some stuff.
Tower Gang. Here. Sorry, Tower Gang. They're gonna get mad at me if I don't mention. I'm a Tower Gang guy too. Sorry.
Tower Gang's changing the game. Mm-hmm. Tower Gang changed the game, dude.
Fuck yeah. Dude.
0 fucks given. Inspired me to go harder in the paint. So I appreciate you guys. And let's get into these. Let's break it down and get in these highlights.
Here's a clip from the latest Broken Sim.
The one thing I want to say it's super funny is like I was recently. This is how I haven't been able to tell the story on here. But after every comedy chaos, I like to go and grab a slice of pizza from Joe's Pizza. It's just a reward after going all night.
Great place.
So I don't know why this is the most hilarious thing, but I go in there. I always order 3 slices with mushroom. So I go there, I get in line, and dude, like we used to talk about Hollywood Boulevard. It is a human safari. It literally has like taxi driver energy for the older listeners of the show. Well, my favorite movie, even though I despise Robert De Niro now. I think he's just a fraud, a touch butt retard fraud.
Good actor, though.
I mean, maybe.
He's a good actor.
Maybe, you know.
Piece of shit, good actor.
But in Taxi Driver, he was amazing. And that energy of Taxi Driver is Hollywood Boulevard. Just gritty, grimy.
Well, Joe's on Sunset, right? Which one do you go to?
No, I go to one on Hollywood Boulevard.
Wait, so you don't... There's one right next to the Comedy Store.
Yeah, but it's not on the way to my house.
Oh, interesting.
When I'm driving back to the valley, this Joe's is on the way.
That's so funny. There's one like 200 yards from the Comedy
That way.
Store. Okay, that's funny.
I'm going this way. And then, of course, Johnny, I like to see the wild things.
Yeah, that's crazier down there.
I like to just watch the wild things go, oh, I might die.
Yeah.
Is this the best feeling? I might die. So I go there, and it's just chaos, dude. It's sloppy drunks, you know, SoundCloud rappers. Like, it's just...
handing out their CDs.
Yeah. Still handing out CDs.
It's so funny.
Even though nobody owns a CD.
No, what can
I
I
have
do
people
with
show up to my show go, hey, man, will you take my CD? I'm like, I'll take it. What am I doing with this thing? When was the last time you saw a CD player?
They're not even in cars anymore. Yeah.
It's like unbelievable. It's like, do you think I still do cocaine? Hey, be like, hey, man, take my cocaine placemat.
Yeah, you showed my nephew a CD. He would think it was a frisbee. He would literally have no idea what a CD is.
I remember when CDs came out, my friends were like, dude, you can do whatever you want. You can scratch it. Doesn't matter. Chuck it. And then instantly it just went to shit.
Well, remember, dude, do you remember? And then, like, before CDs, just every highway would be littered with, like, tapes that had just kind of come unspooled, you know?
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, you just see them, like, blowing in the wind, like...
tumbleweed.
Tumbleweed, yeah. Just whoosh, 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 everywhere.
So I'm on Hollywood Boulevard. It's an insane asylum. It's right next to the 7-Eleven that plays, like, Beethoven.
This is, like, late at night, too. We're talking.
Oh, yeah. This is usually around, like, 11:30. God bless the guys who work at Joe's Pizza, because they're dealing with wild people. Just a drunk, wild, angry, just crazy people.
You know how when you're in the army and they want to punish you, they're like, we're sending you to Alaska, or if you're in the Russian army, Siberia. The Joes on Hollywood Boulevard is where they send you.
That's where the ones who are on probation.
Yeah.
They screwed up at the other locations.
We're sending you to Hollywood Boulevard.
There you go. So I get lied, and it's just wild thing after wild thing, you know. Older guy with tight shirt on, still trying to hold on to it. Sloppy drunk Mexican chicks. And then there was this black chick, and she was getting very upset because her order was taking forever. And she's like, I want my dots, which is like the garlic dots.
Oh, yeah.
I want my dots. Don't get any sauce on them. And as soon as this guy puts in the sauce, it gets on, and she yells, you're contaminating the dots. Stop contaminating the dots.
This is an atrocity.
Stop contaminating the dots. And then she just flicks it at him. Give me new ones. Stop. Don't contaminate them. And it's like...
What's her problem?
I mean, it's so weird because she wanted the sauce, but she didn't want the sauce to talk to the dots until she dipped it.
Maybe make them soft or something. That's so fun. That's OCD, but that's a mental problem.
But the word contaminating is like,
it's OCD.
It's almost perfect. It's totally wrong.
Yeah.
But it's almost perfect.
It's an atrocity.
That was an atrocity, Johnny. I got an atrocity.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I got an atrocity. Finally, we haven't had a good atrocity in a while.
No, we haven't. Yeah, we have one on the call. We're bringing back calls, by the way.
We're bringing back calls.
Finally. The calls.
So, Johnny, you want an atrocity?
I love atrocities.
Okay, atrocity. We're talking atrocities.
Yeah.
Atrocities.
Yeah, Jim Mora. That would be great. Yeah.
So you want atrocity, Johnny?
Please.
I live in the Valley, and the Valley has this crazy thing where almost you can dump your car. And it will sit there for a couple weeks, and we would have to call people. Like, we have to be like, this car's abandoned, and then they would get one.
Where you live?
All over the Valley, dude. People just leave their cars, right?
I did that with my car one time.
So So the parking's FUBAR. They don't do street cleaning.
Oh, it's these homeless people. Yeah.
It's just FUBAR. You know, and I told you, there's a guy who has got a Corvette that he lives in.
Well, you know what? Someone explained.
Dude, this Corvette's like, I meant to get pussy, not be a homeless shelter.
If you'd like to hear the rest of this episode, subscribe to Broken Simulation in your podcasting app or check us out at youtube.com/Sam Tripoli.
We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Tinfoil hack.